Salute, Knicks Nation. Let's talk about this game as the Knicks drop their third game of the season, man, to the Cleveland Cavaliers at MSG. This was a frustrating finish, but there was flashes, man, sprinkled all throughout this game where the Knicks were in control. 13-point lead given up, right? Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland got loose. Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen carried the Cavs back into the game, right? But the Knicks made some plays late. Ariel Hukporti, monster slam, was ruled out by these officials, man. Let's talk about that call and just the wash-up to this loss, man. As the Knicks, man, they've got to roll up their sleeves, now hit the road and pick up some wins real quick. Right, frustrating game to give up tonight, guys. Welcome into the post-game live with CT and the chat. And man, frustrating finish. I mean, the New York Knicks got to execute better. That's what it came down to, right, for me. But we'll talk about the big plays late, lack of execution down the stretch, but a little bit of injuries that came in. Brunson got, kneed in the thigh, had to sit for a bit. Hart as well, and then that's when the Cleveland Cavaliers, made a run, right? But this sent MSG crowd, man, going crazy. Ariel Hukporti got major minutes, going to be a huge talking point that we talk about tonight, guys. Soft foul. I mean, I must admit, yes, he kind of technically pushed Mobley's arm away a little, but you see that happen all the time. The offensive player clearing space on that one, and that would have put it, that would have cut it to like 3 points, 2 points, with plenty of time remaining with the momentum on the Knicks side. But let's talk about the bigger picture, right? Mikal Bridges had a good game in the mid-range. Deuce McBride gave the Knicks a good spark. I thought Josh Hart was outstanding in this one. As I pull up the box score, obviously Karl Anthony Towns, right? We're going to talk about him a lot tonight as we give out the grades, guys. And I smash that like button. We've got the Knicks streets buzzing. The New York Knicks will come correct. I know that on the road, but this is just a frustrating game to give up. But there was a lot of positives sprinkled in, like I said, into some of the things that we're going to clean up. I thought, obviously a step in the right direction. Tibbs early, acknowledged that the size of the Cleveland Cavaliers was a lot to handle, and obviously Hukporti came in, gave the Knicks a spark in the first half, but I didn't think he was going to get major minutes down the stretch, right? Karl Anthony Towns had some trouble dealing with the Twin Towers, and I'm going to think that, Tibbs obviously just wanted to go with an extra big, but, he gave the Knicks good minutes, did Hukporti, but Cat struggled, I think, defensively, but 13 points. Offensively, there was good flashes with the post-up game. I think the Knicks did really well, like I did on my preview, attacking the post-ups and all of that. And we'll talk about it, guys. But we've got Daniel Berry in the building, CAA, David, and Buzzer Beater. Let's talk about it, right? We were missing Mitch in this matchup, but I don't think that's the reason we lost the ball game. Look, there's going to be a lot of reactions tonight, fam, and I'm ready. Ready for your takes. Get your comments in, guys. But the Knicks really would have won this game. We just didn't execute. But yeah, some concerns that, Cat going up against Twin Towers, right? We need more size. And I thought Tibbs obviously made a bold call getting Hukporti in there, but, maybe him alongside Cat would have been a better look, in my opinion. But we saw some positive things. The Knicks hunting the post-ups, the kick-outs, the three-point shooting. I just think the Cavs had shot makers late, and we just didn't have enough shot makers tonight, right? Garland and a Spider Mitchell, that they're a pull-up threat. But now you've got to pay credit to Evan Mobley. It looks like he's come back with a better offensive game, and that's something we have to deal with now moving forward. But you guys see Deuce's 6 of 12 was excellent. I thought Cameron Payne's minutes weren't very good tonight, and look, Tibbs didn't go back to him, fam. But look, Anunoby was sensational defensively, as was Josh Hart. We need more guys to roll up their sleeves, and to play that kind of grittier defense. Buzzer Beater says, I had mixed emotions about seeing Hukporti tonight. Yep. I was happy Tibbs made the adjustment, but I was unhappy that he was subbed in because of Cat struggles on D. Yeah, it was. It was bittersweet, and I think, look, Cat moving forward, we're going to continue to look at the progress in terms of him at the five. But obviously, we got Mitch on the sidelines. Precious, hopefully come back real soon. I had my doubts whether Cat is the full-time five for this team, and no one's really said otherwise, because Mitch, is out, and I think, look, I'm going to read it as more of a positive buzzer that we have a guy like Hukporti now that we know after just 3 games can come in and give you serious minutes. That's got to be something that you got to take moving forward. And who would have pegged that, man? Yours truly certainly called it in the preseason where people were coming at me saying that Hukporti, we need to see, and he shouldn't be ahead of Sims and all of this. Well, it's only taken 3 games, fam, for people to see that Ariel Hukporti is an NBA rotation player. Um, Obviously, we're going to see a lot more moving forward. But yeah, like Omar says, if Towns continues to have struggles defensively against bigger bodies, we're going to need Hukporti more than many people anticipated. But look, I'm a glass half full kind of person. It sucks to lose the game. I don't think it was anything to worry about long term. I feel like we just didn't execute, guys, and we're playing against a good team. They're 4-0 now. We were the best team that they've played, no doubt about it. But in terms of Cleveland, they had their hands full with us tonight. We hear Bridges with the kick out. OG was splashing the three ball. I think we just got bogged down offensively, and we started to drive into the traffic. And that's something I said on my scouting report, fam. Brunson, I think he has to wear a lot of this as well because he was tunnel vision, going into the trees. You have to know on the scouting report. I said it last night, fam. 14 blocks combined from Mobley and Allen heading into tonight's game in just 3 games. They had 14 blocks combined. I told everyone to look out for it, and we saw it tonight, man. They were just blocking shots everywhere, right? We should have continued to space them out and then hit the threes on them as well. But I felt like, yeah, we just didn't execute late. But we've got a couple of keepers now, and we're going to figure out, right, a closing lineup as well. I thought Hart struggled offensively a bit, but man, his spark and his heart and effort and energy was huge in this one, getting the Knicks back into it. Right now, we drop a game with OG Anunoby in the lineup, so now we are 37-8 with OG Anunoby. But yeah, we're going to see Cleveland a lot more throughout this season, fam, and I feel like we'll be a lot better next time we face them. But yeah, a lot of worries to clean up in terms of hitting the road now and executing better. Cat, it's going to be the main talking point. Look, Tibbs gave him a bit of a breather, but you could obviously look at it as he was benched as well. CAVS made a little bit of a run, and look, it's a lot of size to deal with Mobley and Allen. OG as well had some struggles against those two. I would have liked to see a Cat Hukporti lineup, together and just really control the paint that way. What did you guys think of that? Give us your thoughts, fam. Buzzer says this is a campaign that I was afraid of, out of control, taking bad shots and some tunnel vision. Yeah, we'll talk about pain and we'll give out the grades. We'll start giving out grades in a second, fam, as we get our instant reactions live with CT on the post game. Knicks just 1-2 for the season now, right? We've got some easier games coming up, but 13-point lead. Things were going well. When Hukporti came in the second quarter and helped get the Knicks up 9, I thought, man, food. Cleveland, match for us, And so you got to give them credit for fighting their way back into the game, but I felt like we allowed them to get back into it as well. Just sloppy play after sloppy play. They inched their way back, and they got shot makers as well. So they made that comeback run. We punished the Sam Merrill and the Dean Wade experiment. The New York Knicks punished that, and we went away from it. Or you could probably look at like Kenny Atkinson, their coach, and that's something to keep in mind, guys, moving forward. They are coached by a better coach now. I really feel like Kenny Atkinson is a better coach than what they had with Bickerstaff, But the New York Knicks were in control of this ball game, right? I thought we took bad shots. Our shot selection was poor, and getting our shots blocked in traffic as well. And look, defensive rotations were hit and miss. There were some really, really, really good ones, and there were some ones not so good as well. But we're learning a lot about our players now, right? And that's going to happen. CAA says Brunson was rattled today. He didn't look like himself, and maybe the knee contusion had an issue with that. But yeah, I didn't like his shot selection late down the stretch, so that'll be factored into consideration. CC says we gave the game away, but it's an early lesson for them to grow from. Great points, fam. Great points. Early in the season. Like I said, I don't think this loss as a whole is anything to worry about long term. I think personnel wise, we were up 13. We were doing what was right. I just thought we went away from that, and we allowed Cleveland back into the ball game, right? 13 points at home at MSG, up. You need to put your foot on their throat, and close the game out, right? But the erratic play off the bench, obviously we are stretched a little thin right now with the likes of Precious Achua out, Landry Shamet. We're going to need some more help, as the season progresses. Pacome Dadier, Tyler Kolek didn't see any minutes tonight, but obviously Ariel Hukporti at centre is the big story in this one. Came in late, came in the second quarter early, came in late as well with 4 or 5 minutes remaining with the game on the line as well, which is significant trust from Tom Thibodeau. So clearly he liked what he's seen, and he's got a level of trust in Ariel Hukporti. We haven't had many backup centers with the confidence to actually put the ball on the floor, and take it strong, and make a play, right? And he did make a play. Fortunately, it was a soft offensive foul call. It was whistled, blown away. But man, the MSG erupted on that one. And look, Hukporti I think is going to be a piece that plays moving forward now. I mean, I don't think Tibbs just pulled, a rabbit out the hat. I think he kind of probably knew against, these tougher matchups with size that he's a guy that he's going to have to pull off, and play earlier in the ball game. And it was working early. Larry, what's up? Larry P says Johnny Bryant was the difference. Good call. I think he's got some good intel on the New York Knicks and what Tibbs likes to do. CAA says our rotation's off because Cat can't guard the paint. I think, a couple of times Cat failed to get his hand up. It was a bit slower rotating. I'm going to say. I mean, defensively, Hukporti's more of a defensive-minded player. So Cat at the 5 against 2 bigs was a tough assignment for him. Julian says, all I care about is Josh Hart. But as far as the ball, it didn't move around fluently. Lost a lot of our points were off on defense. Other than that, that was a one-on-one play. Yep. CC says CAVS staggered. Mitchell, Alette, Garland, Cook. Great to see you guys up in the chat, man. Give us your thoughts. Knicks Nation, as the Knicks go 1-2. I thought Deuce was really solid again. You could argue, continue to make the case for him to get more minutes, fam. Let's start with the bench tonight with our grades, fam, and then we'll deal with some starters, right? But Deuce McBride, 6 of 12, 2 of 6 from 3, 14 points, gave us 4 assists and 3 rebounds, right? 29 minutes, so significant minutes increase for the Deuce, right? Good assignment for the smaller backcourt. I felt like he was guarding good early, but then, Garland just getting loose off the screen. Also, what I didn't like, fam, is our defense transition-wise was slow getting back, right? One of the plays early down the stretch that really irated me was the Garland wide open 3 in the corner, fam. He just beat everyone up the floor. He was spaced out in the corner and just, shot a transition corner 3. That should never happen. And so that would have, got Tibbs really irate. So our transition D was poor down the stretch. I think maybe a lot of these guys were gassed, but that's got to be cleaned up. Mikal Bridges, solid night offensively, 9 of 15, 19 points, but a minus 14 as well. But he played the most minutes out of everybody. look, Cat offensively, we've got to find him, the right touches. But against those bigs, they were doing a pretty solid job. But he was efficient, 4 of 8, got to the free throw line. We did well attacking them tonight. We got them in foul trouble. Again, I think our defense tonight just let it slip as well. Um, heavily reliant on OG Anunoby, right? With 2 steals and 15 points, OG was solid tonight, 7 of 13. But, inefficient from 3 as well, guys. Just 28 threes tonight as a team and only shot 32%. And look, 44% from the field is not going to get it done as well. So, yeah, we need to roll our sleeves up and play more physical, right? But does Tibbs stumble upon the remedy moving forward, guys? Ariel Hukporti, relatively unknown. Now he's more of a known name. And I'm going to say that this is the game now that, welcomes in Ariel Hukporti to more of the rotation on a, maybe a semi-permanent basis, whether it's against bigger opponents or whatever. On that note. But yeah, I'm not going to overreact in terms of like moving forward. The pieces we've got to find, fam. We just have to execute better. And look, Cleveland, I think they're a shout to be a top 5 team. Right. So once again, if you're going to lose 2 of your first 3 games, if one of them is to the number 1 team and the other one is to a top 5 team, assumedly, as long as the New York Knicks take care of all the other teams that they should beat. And look, tonight, Cleveland is a team we should beat. We let this one go. But moving forward, we've got to take care of these other teams that, we need to beat. We're going to get back rotating better, like we were against Indiana, fam. But look, Cleveland was a really high-powered offense, and we kept them to a really good score at halftime, 45 points. And I think that's something to draw on. I think the second half was just really lousy. Once again, the third quarter of doom, fam. We took a healthy lead into the half. Halftime it was 52-45, up 7 at halftime. You're like, okay, I take that, fam. 7 points up at the half, and then third quarter we just let them back into it. Cavs went on a 7-0 run, and that was the swinging point in this ball game. I think if we just hold the Cavs in check in that third, we probably grind out a comfortable win. But that 7-0 run from Cleveland hurt us, man. It really hurt us. So yeah, Jay Dragon, what's up? Mitch wasn't there tonight, so we couldn't count on him. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really thinking about Mitch at this point in time. I think we just got to do the best of what we have and grind out these wins. I know Precious is going to get back sooner than Mitchie. Jericho, I thought Jericho was actually playing fine early. I'm kind of surprised that Tibbs just switched it up instantly. But obviously a couple missed assignments. We're having trouble trying to shake off Cleveland's, runs early. And then Hukporti got in the ball game in the second quarter, and the Knicks went on a 9-0 run and just looked really, really comfortable as well. So we got Patrick Ewing in the building. This was Pat pre-game, fam, and good to see Pat in the building, but he's got to hopefully have an influence in terms of these bigs. Mark Bryan as well, obviously is the big man coach. But yeah, I thought looked solid minutes from Ariel Hukporti, and maybe playing him next to Karl Anthony Towns, is the look, moving forward until Precious gets back. Fam, give us your questions, give us your opinions on it. Fam, should Hukporti play next to Cat? God's Soul says Brunson needs to trust his boys more. Macau was hot and didn't get any touches. Yeah, I think there was parts of that. I agree with you. I think, yeah, one of the, the many reasons why the New York Knicks let this one go. But I feel like it was more defensively, giving up that 7-0 run. I thought, yeah, Cat struggled really defensively tonight. Not going to lie. I thought offensively he was completely fine. But yeah, we had a post-up opportunity from Hukporti here. Was in and out, but Hart again saved the day. Where would we be without Josh Hart tonight? Fam? But here we were running and stunning, getting out in transition. That's what helped the New York Knicks get up. and we've got to get back to that. We needed to get stops tonight. It was a good rotation, good help rotation on that one, right? Hukporti helped run the break there to Josh Hart. So, look, I thought we played a pretty average first quarter. We played an excellent second quarter. Unfortunately, that was the highlight of the night. The third quarter was once again back to very average, and the fourth quarter was probably the worst quarter of the game. And so average, very good, average again, and then bad. So if you look at it in that way, fam, you're not going to win a ball game if you play one good quarter. And it was a very good quarter that got us up 13, but that kind of just sugar-coated, I guess, the rest of the funk, right? So with that said, let's give out the first grade of the night, fam. We'll get through this really quickly because we've got a lot to hit on with the starters as well. But I want to start with a positive because Deuce McBride, played well tonight. Got 29 minutes. Should have played maybe a bit more. 6 of 12. I thought defensively he was one of the best Knicks tonight. 14 points. Got into the mid-range, shot it over Mobley. Still able to find his shot, which is impressive for Deuce as well. Continues to work on his offense. Like many others, though, he didn't have it going from 3, but 2 of 6 isn't that bad. There was some struggles from the rest, but Deuce McBride, man, do we insert him into the starting unit? Do we go bigger? What are your thoughts moving forward, and what is your grade for Deuce tonight, man? I thought Deuce was one of the best Knicks, tonight, not going to lie. So I'm going to go, we lost the ball game, but I'm going to go with a grade for Deuce McBride today for a B, right? I thought he was one of the better New York Knicks tonight. What are your thoughts on that one, fam? Now, the next up, let's talk about Cameron Payne. 2 of 7, 2 of 3, though, from deep. We needed his floor spacing early. I thought, it's good when those shots are going down, but his play was a little erratic as well, but smaller minute sample. Some nights we're just not going to get what we need from Cameron Payne. But look, 10 minutes, Tibbs just didn't go back to him. So for Cameron Payne tonight, I'm going to give out his grade. For Payne, and it's going to be a C for Cameron Payne, man. Give out your grades with me, fam. We've got Just Knicks in the building. Knicks Kingdom is not liking what you're seeing from Cat. David says you got to demand the ball. Be tough-minded. God's Soul says when Josh left, we lost our soul. Yeah, he was obviously he's always been one of our best hustle players, in a tight ball game. But yeah, the floor spacing concerns continue to hurt. But tonight he hit some shots as well, so it was a mixed bag. I thought impactful-wise, David says Deuce gets a B. Yeah, we agree, fam. Cameron Payne gets that C for me. The big H, Ariel Hukporti, fam. It's time to give out his grade right now. And look, huge spark in that second quarter. Helped the Knicks get on that 9-0 run. Finished with a +1 and a plus-minus. Couple rebounds, 1 block, and a turnover. Obviously, that offensive foul and 1 personal foul. And then 0 of 1 on that hook shot in 11 minutes. But his energy, his spark, his size, I think was what was needed. So I applaud Tibbs for doing this. And I think he's probably seen enough, The Knicks have had practice for a couple of days between their games now. And he's probably seen Ariel Hukporti put in that work. He trusted him tonight. It paid off in the end, I think, despite that bogus, call late down the stretch. So I think moving forward, we're probably going to, see a lot more of Ariel Hukporti, although it's very early in his career. I'm not overreacting right now, but he's simply a piece that we need. He's simply a piece that we just need to be playing, fam. And so I like his spark. I like his energy. So with that said, man, Ariel Hukporti is going to get a B- for me tonight, right, in a very small sample, but one of the better Knicks, impactful-wise as well. Obviously, offensively, the Cavs were coming back, so Tibbs did make way, made the substitution. He got Cat back in the ball game, with about 7 minutes left, but then we just struggled defensively again. And then he benched Cat for a minute or two, got Ariel Hukporti back in there at about the 5-minute stretch. And then after the offensive foul, he got Cat back in with 3 minutes left because we needed some buckets. But I mean, Jericho, I'm not going to really, dwell on Jericho Sims' minutes. I can't really give him a grade in 3 minutes. He was a -6 though, so obviously there were some struggles for Jericho. But that is your bench, fam. Deuce Miles McBride, Ariel Hukporti, and Cameron Payne. Right now, let's talk about the starters for the night, fam. The captain. We have to start with the captain, fam. Let's talk about Jalen Brunson. A lot of you guys didn't like his shot selection. I thought, yeah, especially when the game was on the line late. But again, he was trying to force this, the issue and get the scoreboard up. CC says Huck is mobile and not clumsy. Hans says, I hope Brunson and Hart are okay. Yeah, great comment, man. Prayers up. Hopefully, it didn't look anything serious. Sports Guru says, I'm concerned about Cat's shot volume and only 8 shots. Yeah, I'm not as concerned, but I hear what you're saying. What I put it down to today is I think the ball was just moving really well, and Bridges was just a bit more dominant. And look, obviously, factually, Cat should shoot more than 8 shots, so I'm not disputing that 100%. But I guess it kind of it looks worse than it is because yeah, he was benched a bit more, and obviously his minutes weren't very high, 32 minutes. But if you look at the shot attempts, look, OG kind of steps in and takes 13 shots. Brunson takes 24 shots. Hart takes 10. And then Bridges obviously takes 15. And Miles McBride takes 12. So yeah, it's kind of easier to understand how Cat got lost in the offense a little bit. Down low, once again, you got to give their credit to their shot blockers. I basically had it number 1 in my preview yesterday, guys. And if you don't catch our previews, just find time to catch some of our previews moving forward, because I do watch the other teams. And I had yesterday on my preview show that the blocks and the Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, the threat of protecting the paint is something that we need to be wary of. But look, I thought we did pretty well, with the post ups. I thought we had pretty good success with that. I think we just let a really good offensive team get loose, and our defense just needed to tighten up with that one as well. God Soul says it's early, we'll be okay. Yeah, I agree. Obviously, you don't want to lose these close ball games, but look, we've got to execute better, and there is still some concerns over the new pieces and gelling and integrating. But like I said, if you're going to lose 2 games, the fact that they're going to be against most likely what's going to be a top 5, 2 top 5 teams, right? And we're up 13. We just let this one get away from us. David says Kitty Cat needs to be tough, demand the basketball more. Look, down the stretch, I think, yeah, there's some merit to that, fam. I think Brunson, was taking a lot of shots tonight, and they weren't very good shots for the most part. J Mars, Julian Blum says if Mitch was in the paint, right, he would be on lock with Mobley and Afro. Wouldn't have been able to do anything. Yeah, we really do miss. I mean, Mitch is, defensive player of the year type player. But maybe we should have gone Twin Towers a bit more. Get OG at the 3 with extra size. Get Hukporti together next to Cat. Get Bridges at the 2, Brunson at the 1, and just put Josh Hart on the bench. It's just one of those things where I know Hart's energy and hustle was great. I'm not discrediting Hart's hustle and impact on tonight's ball game, but I think for the betterment of the overall team, maybe it would have been better just going with the Twin Towers and just deterring those guys in the paint. Because yeah, the threat of Brunson and the threat of Spider and Garland. But if Evan Mobley is also feeling himself and getting buckets, that's 3 guys you've got to look out for, and that's tough, right? Yeah, we've got to be better on the rotation, CAA, on that. Buzzer Beater says we've got a long road trip ahead of us, right? Is this the cat we signed up for? Every other game is a good performance. I think it's very early to tell, but look, I think tonight was more of a very good team making us pay, but Tibbs has got to adjust, right? But yeah, Cat can struggle defensively at the 5. I think he's better at the 4. Maybe that's why Minnesota did get Rudy Gobert. Haas says that Hukporti dunk would have brought back the Knicks' momentum. Absolutely, man. That was a killer. That was a killer. And Dorkasaurus says, when is JB going to learn to lob? Yeah, I think he's going to look at the film and know that he can be better, right? So with that said, let's give out Brunson's grade. The first grade for the starters, the captain. He was 8 of 24, man, 33% from the field. No three-pointer. He was 0 of 4 as well there. Got 7 free throws, 71%. That counts against JB as well, fam, because that missed second free throw would have brought the Knicks back within, I think, 2 or 3. And that was a really costly missed second free throw. 7 assists. I think Brunson could have easily got 10 assists tonight. 0 in the plus minus, which is quite interesting, fam. I mean, Bridges was hitting buckets, but he's a minus 14. Brunson couldn't hit buckets, but was a 0 in the plus minus. So very misleading with that. But yeah, give out your grades. God goes with a C for Brunson. And look, yeah, I'm always harsh on JB, fam. He's got to be better, right? And it was, yeah, a lot of things that Jalen Brunson is always better at, fam. So I'm going to agree without going over the top. But yeah, it was a really bad performance from Brunson. He doesn't have many of them, and he'll get better. He'll correct, but he gets a C tonight. What is your grade for the captain, Jalen Brunson, fam? As the Knicks lose a close one down the stretch, we're right in it still. But I mean, Cleveland's offense was a lot for the Knicks to handle. Let's talk about the big cat now in his 3rd game as a New York Knick. He was 4 of 8, 50%. Nice post-up moves and was working well early in the ball game, I thought. And obviously his impact was big with the hook shots, helping the Knicks, space the floor out better. He shot 1 of 2 though from deep, so that's one of the major concerns of the first 3 games. If you're looking into it in totality, we did bring Cat in, and he needs to shoot more threes, right? We need to find more looks to utilize his strength, spacing those rim protectors out. That was key on my scouting report. You got Mobley, you got Allen, and you've got a shooter like Cat. So again, that's on Brunson, but it's also on Tibbs, right? Where was the pick and pop? Where was the floor spacing to get Cat spaced out in front for the deep threes as well? Got to the free throw line 4 times. Again, I would have loved him to get more free throws. Look, rebounding, I can't really fault Cat on the glass. I think I think he's battling. 10 rebounds is fair. 3 assists is good for a center. 6 fouls though. I think that just highlights some of the struggles that that he had against those bigs. But obviously, I want him to get more physical, get more free throws, and space the floor out better. Shoot those 3 balls. But -1. The fact that Garland and Mobley had good games, I think that's also on Cat. He needs to wear that, right? I think he was slightly better than Brunson, maybe the same. What do you guys think for Karl Anthony Towns? AP says they lost. It's an F. And Buzzer Beater's gone with a D for Cat. You guys are bringing the fire, man. You guys are bringing the fire with this one. I don't think you give it an F for me personally, or a D, because you're up 13 points, fam. And yes, it matters that you lose the ball game. But if you're up 13 points, you're obviously doing something very well. You're doing things that are good. And I don't think you can just throw that in the trash, you know. You're in control of the ball game. Everything's looking good. So it can't go from that to just doom and gloom, if you know what I mean. So try to find somewhere in between, right? It was some poor execution, but yeah, to get up 13 against a good team means that you're, you know, you're executing and you're doing some things that are pretty good. So with that said, I'm going to go my grade personally for the big cat. And yes, it was a mixed bag, and we need to see a lot more. But I'm going to give Cat a C for tonight, right? I love some of the post ups. Obviously, you know, 1 of 2 from deep. Good small sample, but not enough. Defensively, struggles against the bigs down the stretch. But look, that's what the coach is there for. And he you know, Tibbs, you know, pulled some pretty brave calls out, you know, to get Hukporti in there, to give Cat a rest down the stretch. It didn't pay off. It didn't work out. But you know, these guys are figuring out the offense still and the defensive schemes. But hey, you know, one huge takeaway from 3 games can be like, you know, did Mitch's importance on this team just go up another notch? You know, Cat as the long time 5, you know, serious questions over that, although it is only 2 losses. And so, again, we're going to have some serious guests be coming on as well after the 8 game mark, just to give you guys a bit of a hint. 8 games, 10 games in, we are going to really, you know, have a big sample to evaluate this squad. Francis says, no matter what, they shouldn't have lost up 13. 100% agree with you on that. Dorkasaurus says, Cat really isn't a shot creator. JB just played like he was totally alone out there. Yeah, I think early on we're doing well to find the right shots. I think we just went away from that, and that's on the leaders, you know. Masculine visionary wants to see Huck and Cat at the same time. Amen, man. Amen. I want to see that as well. And I think that could be a really good look, you know. I think just do that by 50-50, you know, Cat at the 5, 50% of the game, but not for the full game. You know, he came into the league as a 4-5, but I think, you know, he's had his biggest success, I think, at the 4. You know, Rudy Gobert next to him can help make up for some, you know, deficiencies early on. But yeah, I really feel like we're still figuring things out, guys. It's only 3 games in, and you have every right to, you know, feel a certain way. You know, I'm not, you know me, I never tell anybody how to feel, man. You know, your eyes tell you what they need to tell you. But all I'm saying is it's a small sample, you know. So, you know, don't go too down on things right now, because, you know, we did a lot of things that were good tonight. We just didn't come correct in the second half. You know, the third quarter of doom kind of, you know, reared its ugly head, fam. But one thing that I'm, you know, more concerned about moving forward is our reliance on Josh Hart and OG Anunoby defensively, and Bridges, right? Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns do get taken advantage of, and that's something that Tibbs is going to have to figure out how to minimalize, you know. Obviously, last year we had Randall, we had Mitchie, and we had Isaiah still, and that was enough to make up for, you know, the deficiencies of Brunson on the defensive side. You would think now with Bridges, OG, Hart in the starting lineup, and you know, some other options, Precious to come back soon, hopefully, Mitchie to get back, and Hukporti now. You think that Tibbs should have enough to at least, you know, neutralize that, I think, defensively. As I spoke on, man, Dorkasaurus, I mean, by the technicalities of it, I think that Hukporti one, I can understand why they called it, but then I still feel like it's, you know, the wrong call at that time, because you see it so many times from the other guys and it's just not called. You know, you see Giannis, LeBron, everybody uses their offhand, you know, in some way to clear a little bit of traffic when you're about to throw it down. And so I think by the letter of the law, I could see why they call that an offensive foul, but I mean, I still think it's bogus, fam. I still think it's bogus on that, right? To call that at that time, right? You see it happen, so much. But next up, let's talk about some of the more better Knicks tonight. I think Bridges finding his shot. What do you guys think about Mikal Bridges? Give us your grade for his night. And I feel like, yeah, Kolek is going to be situational early in the season, but I feel like he could win some minutes, masculine, as the season progresses, fam. If Cameron Payne is shaky, I think Tyler Kolek, but he's going to have to practice well. He's going to have to earn the trust of Tibbs in these small minutes that he gets. But on to Mikal Bridges, I think, I'm not worried about his jump shot anymore. I'll put it that way, fam. That's one less worry now. What do you guys think? After the first game, there was a world of worry about Mikal Bridges' jump shot. After two more games, and now 3, Mikal Bridges has found his jumper, man. He was a mid-range assassin tonight, 9 of 15. 1 of 4, though, hit a nice corner 3. 19 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block, fam. Minus 14, but yeah, plus minus can be trash, like Buzzer Beater says. But yeah, Bridges was doing well defensively. Was in passing lanes. I thought he did well early in the ball game to help us get that control of the ball game. And we were poor on our rotations as a team late. That let Spider Mitchell get loose. Darius Garland once again got loose as well. We just didn't have enough pull-up shot makers to keep up with theirs, and to slow them down. But for Bridges, for me, I'm going to give out his grade right now, fam. More on the pleasing side of things. This is the two-way Bridges that we signed up for. This is the kind of player that we need moving forward on a more permanent basis. So taking into consideration as a team, we lost as well. But I'm going to go with a B, I think, for Bridges, right? Pretty solid tonight. Good to see his jump shot fall. I think, the looks where he could put the ball on the floor and, ice those mid-range jumpers, that's going to relieve a lot of pressure off Brunson and Cat moving forward on that one. Should he have got more jump shots? Should he have got more attempts? I'm with you on that, fam. Buzzer Beater's gone with a C for Bridges. Francis says Bridges didn't shoot enough for somebody who had it going. And Campaign was taking a lot of dumb shots. Yeah, I think Bridges, he technically is on paper that third option, and so he's probably going to get a couple shots and then, get frozen out a little bit because, Brunson is a better offensive player and Cat is as well. But as a team, yeah, we should have looked for him more. We needed him to be aggressive when he got the ball. Again, I just kind of really try to highlight the turning point in this ball game, fam, which was the third quarter. You take a 7-point lead into halftime. You have a chance to build on that. Stretch that 7-point lead to 10. That's all you had to do. Win that third quarter by 3 points. And you take a 10-point lead heading into the fourth. And then the crowd is on our side and we close it out. But I just think we got lazy. We got lazy in that third quarter. And when pressure got to us in that fourth, the Knicks just didn't do a good job executing. David M says, Bridges good now. Now we need to get Cat going. Great comment, fam. And I think that's on the coaching staff and the film sessions, and that's on Brunson as well. But yeah, again, we did a good job overall hunting those post-ups. I mean, I can't complain about the looks Cat got. We just didn't get him enough looks on the offensive side. Defensively, we know the struggles, and that's why I gave him a C on that one, fam. So let's talk about the next two, man. OG Anunoby and Josh Hart, right? I'm going to refresh to see if there's any new updates on Josh Hart. But, man, he already came into the game looking quite gimp, with the ankle impingement. Man, you can't say enough about his heart, his hustle, and his energy. So he's going to get, all those flowers. We have Kendrick Perkins weigh in saying the Knicks will not win at a high level with Towns only taking 7 shots. That's on Tibbs and that's on Brunson. to make sure they feature the big fella, right? So that is something very, very glaring, right? And so is this statistic, right? Now let's hear what Tibbs also had to say about Cat and Hukporti. I'm going to bring this up right now. This is a glaring statistic, courtesy of James Edwards, fam. 3-point attempts through 3 games. The Knicks is a total 65, and our opponents 127. Man, double, fam. That's shocking for a Tibbs team, right? Tibbs, especially, is with a better 3-point shooting team now and a better 3-point shooting center. The New York Knicks can't be giving up double the 3-point attempts to their opponents, fam. We need to be shooting more threes. And also, James says Sims isn't hurt, and and wanted to give Hukporti a look. I thought his minutes were solid, said Tibbs. But the big perk weighed in, man, putting it all on Tibbs and Brunson. What are your thoughts on that? Now, Hukporti didn't start the third, fam. He played major minutes in the second, and then he came in the fourth. Came in late in the third. Francis says Garland will never shoot like that again in his life. He won the game. Yeah, he did get active, man. He did get loose. Great comment. And that's reflective on our guys, our wings. But yeah, we can't do it all. I think OG and Bridges are going to have their hands full. With the the anchor of our defense needs to be stronger. And you saw that impact early when Hukporti came in. He really anchored the defense really well. So I think he deserved that praise from Tibbs. But yeah, I think Cat, he needs to be better at anchoring the defense, whether he's going to be the 5 long term or not. I still think it's up in the air. I think it's giving Leon Rose a lot of food for thought, what to do with that 5 spot. Do you play Precious when he gets back, start him? Does Mitchie get that spot, once he's back healthy? I think you can make a great case for that. Get Cat out on the perimeter more as well. But I think tonight, starting Cat at the 5 was exactly what you needed to do, because I said it on my preview. You had 2 shot blockers, right? And you have a spaced out center. So you needed to get him out on the perimeter, and shooting more threes. And so that's a failure on Tibbs, right? There's no other way to say it. It's also a failure on Tibbs, and we're going to give out Tibbs' grade in a minute. But look, for Josh Hart tonight, next up, we're going to give the grade for Josh. And Hart was 4 of 10 and 2 of 5 from deep, man. He had more 3-point attempts than Cat, which is crazy. 6 free throws as well, aggressive, 100% from the line. 13 boards, 4 of them offensively. 16 points, 3 steals, 2 assists, 5 turnovers, though, did hurt. I think we did get a little sloppy, but that can happen sometimes, when Hart can get aggressive. A little bit of a tunnel vision, bull in a china shop kind of stuff. But, I mean, I like the aggression. I like that he let it fly from deep when he was open. 16 points. I think very, very solid game for Josh Hart. And look, we're going to need him. Where would we be without those 4 offensive rebounds, and the hustle? I think that's a good case you make for why Hart is in that starting lineup. You lose a bit of hustle without Julius and without Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein, of course. And so I think Hart, good game from him tonight. So I'm going to go the same grade as Mikal Bridges for Josh Hart tonight. He's going to get a B for me tonight. What do you guys think? As we about to hit on OG Anunoby and then Tom Thibodeau for tonight's ball game. Francis says Brunson can't take a back seat to no one on our team. He just didn't have it going tonight. It happens. Yeah, I agree. I think there's certain times when it's takeover time, but I also think now, it's a finer balance now, fam. When you got Bridges, you got OG, and you've got Cat. There are sometimes better looks that you can get. But yeah, we still need Brunson to be Brunson. we need him to be aggressive. But I saw earlier in the chat someone say that Brunson's not a point guard. I mean, one loss and you come out with that. This is a guy who was top 5 MVP. Now, is he a pure point guard? How many of those are really in the league anymore, fam? I mean, Garland's not that. Spider's not that. Um, it's a debate that could be a different show. We could have a debate about pure point guards in a different show. The bottom line is Brunson is our point guard right now, and he's a top 5 MVP candidate. And so, if you're coming out after one loss, heaping it on Brunson on his game, after one bad performance, it's pretty tough, right? I think that's being a bit harsh on the man, right? Even the best players have downer nights, you know. Um, certainly if we're making deep playoff runs and whatever, you don't see a lot of those people come out of the woodwork, after one bad performance. With that said, he's got to be better, and he can be better. David says we better win next game. I hate losing to the Heat. Hate losing to anyone, fam. But yeah, I guess this one hurts me more because we had control, right? And to Francis's point, if you come out in the first half and you just look like you just haven't got it going, let's say it's a back-to-back, or let's say you're missing a couple key guys, and you just from the get that it's just not our night. Then you chalk it up to just a loss, fam, a schedule loss. But this kind of loss like tonight, man, when you're up 15 or 13, you have control and you give it away. To me, that's even worse, And you need to definitely put it on the leaders of this club. You got to be better. But look, credit to Cleveland, you hit the shots tonight, and you look, it's a shot making league. We just couldn't slow them down when we needed. We got a couple key stops late and just stopped them from getting up by 5. I think that was the turning point late. It was a 2-point game. It was a back and forth affair with those runs. But I think once Cleveland pushed it out to 5 and then 7 off a couple of bad shot attempts, there was no getting back into it. Now OG, right? OG, I think disappointing that obviously, OG performance was good and we didn't pull it out. So we're 27-8 now with OG in the lineup. But he played big minutes tonight, 36. Was efficient, 7 of 13. Only got 4 3-point attempts again, so he could have shot the ball more. 2 steals, a block, was great. 15 points, plus 3. Could have got more rebounds, though. I want OG, if he's our starting power forward, he's got to get more rebounds. But, I mean, he needs help as well. He can't do it all. 2 steals and a block, great defensively. About 15 points is about, his average, but could have got him more shots as well. Once again, that's on Brunson. So with that said, man, the final grade of the players tonight goes to OG Anunoby. Man, was he the best New York Knick tonight? I think you can make a strong case that, OG Anunoby was the best New York Knick, was efficient. So I'm going to go B+, man. I mean, I don't know if we can expect OG to do much more than what he did tonight. I mean, he hit shots, tried to defend everyone. Not a perfect game by any means because, we lost the ball game. And as a team, we lost control. But I still think that OG Anunoby is that big difference maker, when he's on the floor. What do you guys think? David says Brunson has the ability to dish 10 assists a game. He absolutely does, and there are certain times and points in the game when he needs to get guys going. I think that's the burden, responsibility that Brunson carries, just like Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland. I mean, you could say that about Ja Morant, Steph Curry. If the Golden State Warriors lose a game off Steph Curry's, shot shooting, I don't know if Golden State fans are going to come out and say, "Oh, Steph Curry should have moved the basketball." if the Memphis Grizzlies, lose a game because Ja Morant's taken so many shots. I don't know if Grizzlies fans are going to come out and say, oh, Ja Morant had tunnel vision. I think that's just the NBA game now. Sometimes you live and die with your best player. Um, I think the difference in this one, which is tougher for Brunson, is length. We saw him struggle against, longer guys in the past. He has to know that. He has to do better at understanding the other team's threats and defensively. I mean, they've got dual shot blockers as well. So either pull up from three and try to get spacing that way, or drive into the teeth of the defense and then just be ready to kick it out on that. Buzzer's gone with a C plus for OG. Brian says OG was subpar tonight. Masculine says OG is the key guy playing out of position. I think that's something to look out for moving forward. I think, OG being at the 3 could be, a real boost to this team if we get Mitch back and we beef up our center spot. Cat goes to the 4, OG back to the 3. I think that could be something that makes a big difference. And then obviously it pushes Bridges back to the 2, which gives us extra size that way. Brian says, OG is my guy. He needs to be 12, 10, and 5. Right. 1 and 1 every night. No excuses every night with 200 million on that. I think, look, I understand. I want OG to be a very, very productive guy on both sides of the floor. I think he exerts so much energy, though, defensively, that I think offensively he is what he is now, I think we traded, signed knowing what he is. I think Raptors fans also knew. I wasn't buying into OG just coming here and just taking a big leap offensively. I think, what is it? He's been like 7 years in the league now, 8 years in the league. I think offensively, he kind of is what he is. I think you can give him more usage. If they're good shots, you live with it. But I don't think he's a guy I want hunting shots. I think OG shots generally need to come within the flow of the offense. But what we need to do more of is, get him those open threes so that he can attack the closeout. Also, when we're running well and we're getting good fast break, good transition buckets, OG thrives that way. He's the king at getting out in transition. And making things happen that way. Him and Hart, are like a menace that way. So, but before we move on and look at the wash up from the players and that, we're going to talk about Tibbs tonight, guys. Let's give out the final grade for Tibbs. Right, we're a 1 and 2 start to our season now. Right, Tibbs has to wear some of that because opening night I gave him a D. We weren't ready. We bounced back. Great win against Indiana. He got a nice grade, B plus. Now, I don't think we started this ball game very well. The first quarter was funky. Offensively, we were in a funk. And the second quarter, the spark we gave and with Hukporti and that got us ahead. But then Tibbs just couldn't get it back. The third quarter, we weren't at it. We weren't at the races. That was the bad. The good, Tibbs made a switch up early, which, helped the Knicks get control of the game. Sims was a -6 early. He was one of many reasons why the Knicks weren't looking good, defensively. He made the switch up. He was brave, put Hukporti out there, and it paid off, early in the ball game. And then he benched Cat down the stretch late. I don't know, let's say Hukporti's big jam, sliding doors moment, right? Let's just say prisoner of the moment. Hukporti's jam wasn't, waved off, and the New York Knicks cut it to 2 or 3 with the crowd going crazy. Maybe we go on a big run. So, mixed bag from Tibbs tonight, man. But I'm gonna go a grade for Tibbs right now, which is going to be a C minus. Fam, again, didn't start the ball game well. Third quarter after halftime, didn't start the ball game well as either. And late down the stretch, execution was poor as well. So he wears some of that. Brian says Huck looked great. Yeah, I think we really stumbled on something now, and obviously Tibbs, I think, is going to go to it. Now, we look at the quotes, fam. There's going to be many overreactions and reactions to this one, fam. Like I said, opening night, I chalked this one up to an early season loss. It's frustrating, but yeah, there's no doubt you learn from these. I don't think the players are gonna, forget about this. This is just going to be one loss of the season that you learn from, and you get better at, closing it out. There's film to look at, but if you're going to drop, a game, it's going to be to a top 5 team. I don't see us losing these games to, your Indianas, your Raptors, Bulls, Detroits, Washingtons, Brooklyns. There's going to be many of those beatdowns that we're going to give to those bad teams, just like we did against Indiana right now. But Cleveland, the truth is, Cleveland were coming in hot. They were 3-0, and now they walk away with a deserved win and go to 4-0. They were better than us tonight over the 4 quarters. I think we probably had the best quarter of the game, but they played their other 3 quarters were slightly better than our 3 quarters. And they had the better 4th quarter. When it's all said and done with that. So, I mean, Kendrick Perkins is already weighing in, saying that Knicks need to get these guys better looks, right? But yeah, Brunson and Cat played as bad as they can tonight. So I think moving forward, I'm not as bad. I'm not as down. We've got some other comments from Tibbs and from the Knicks beat. Let me just pull this one up now. But guys, thanks for joining us on the post game. Great to have you with us. Give us your comments, your thoughts, reactions to this game as the New York Knicks will be hitting the road now and taking on Miami. And then we've got Detroit, and then we've got the Houston Rockets as well. So I think hopefully we can go at least 2-1 out of the next 3, and then we'll be back to 500. Fam. Christian Winfield says Tibbs on Cat taking 8 shots tonight. He's getting double teamed in the post. There's different ways he's got to get in there as well. We've got to search that out. Interesting. Not surprised to hear Tibbs say that. It's on Tibbs though to get Cat out there and Brunson out on the 3-point line and get his basically accentuate his strength, which is, the floor spacing and the shooting. Also, Ariel Pacheco, NBA, says ended up mismatch hunting almost to the detriment. The New York Knicks' lack of Brunson Cat actions remains. Cat now with just 6 3-point attempts in 88 minutes. And now, obviously, Jericho Sims not hurt either. Sims isn't hurt. He wanted to give Hukporti a look moving forward. So, look, I think that's going to be beneficial, fam, for the Knicks moving forward. I think maybe playing another big next to Cat a little bit. Hukporti, is a demon on the glass as well. Whether he even plays Sims next to Cat moving forward as well. I think whoever it is, Precious when he's back, I think that could be something we utilize, against bigger teams. I think we probably should. Masculine Visionary says that's what the Knicks will at minimum need to average to have a chance against Boston. We need to get back to the shooting, the floor spacing. Josh Hart needs to stop those dump passes. Agree. Yeah, his 5 turnovers did hurt, fam. He was just so good at everything else that I gave him a B still. AP says this team going to be the 94 Knicks, beat up on those bad teams, but can't buy a win against the good teams. Hopefully not, fam, but I think it's really early in the season to really, establish that yet. I think we're going to be better than, 85% of the teams in the NBA. I'm confident of it. I think there's so many new returning faces, but there's so many new faces as well, fam. It's going to take more than 3 games to get this team to its best, right? Whatever that best is, and maybe that best isn't going to be good enough, but We're going to find out. But you can't sit here and say after 3 games that the team is at its best. It's only been 3 games. It's just not enough. It's a work in progress still. Now you hope that you can grind out, close wins, and you hope that you don't have to give up bad losses while you're figuring things out. I think that's the tightrope that this team is figuring out, guys. There's less margin for error. Ed K says, I'm really impressed with the Cavs. Great D on Brunson and Cat. I mean, they're a better coach team, Ed. Like I said early in the show tonight, I mean, there's a difference. JB Bickerstaff, he was the butt of a lot of jokes from Cleveland fans and whatever. Of course, the Knicks bullied them in 5 games 2 years ago. I think we're just seeing a bit of a maturation with Cleveland, and I think continuity is key for them as well. There's something to be said for bringing everyone back. They didn't have Max Strauss tonight, but they didn't get much out of Dean Wade. They didn't get much out of Sam Merrill. I think the Knicks won those matchups, but Cleveland won the other key matchups with Mobley, Allen. I just think they had the better bigs tonight, right? And we gotta correct that. Cat has to be better. To say that their 2 bigs won the matchups is not going to be what Tibbs wants. Not going to be what Tibbs likes. OG has to be stronger rebounding, even if we need to drop back a bit and help out, in the paint. But Cat has to be a lot better defensively as well. Or there is the other suggestion, like Old Head says, man, start another big. Start Ariel Hukporti next to Towns. Braza says read and react doesn't work unless you have outside shooting. Yeah, I mean, the pull-up threat off the dribble is the number 1 skill in the league. I think Darius Garland and Spider Mitchell have that in spades. And look, Brunson and Bridges have that to a degree as well. We just need to shoot more. They hoisted more threes. And on that note, let me just pull up the stats for the night because we haven't checked that out yet, right? And so field goal percentage, Cleveland slight edge on that one with 48%. They shot slightly better from 3 as well, but they shot more attempts. The fast break points is what killed us. They got 9 more fast break points, fam. So that's your ball game right there. I mean, 6-point ball game, and they got 9 more fast break points. They were more dangerous on the break. Faster transition. I mean, that's what Donovan Mitchell and Garland thrive in. They're very quick. They're feline quickness, in the words of Clyde, just like Maxey. And so I think the Knicks transition D allowed them, gave up too many open threes. What saved the Knicks was the second chance points, man. The New York Knicks got 20 to Cleveland's 10, right? We'd be lost without Josh Hart and his second chance points gained. And the other guys as well, Deuce McBride got the putbacks tonight. Deuce got the B+ tonight. I thought he was fantastic. Look, 16 turnovers as well. That's not going to get it done, man. The Knicks are averaging only 11 turnovers coming into tonight. And we had 16 turnovers. And obviously rebounds, though, we did win. We did win the rebound battle. All right, so I think moving forward, fam, there is a lot of questions that still remain, but it's very early in the season. But I think we can get right on this West Coast trip, right? Tibbs, I think he's found something with Hukporti. I think Bridges has found his jumper, and I think Deuce McBride continues to be sound on the two-way side of the ball off the bench. Now the main things is, look, Brunson, I think tonight was a one-off. I think he gets right. I think OG's been pretty solid, but Cat moving forward, there's going to be a big spotlight on his shot attempts and defensively, how that progresses against Bam Adebayo. Man, that's going to be an interesting preview show that I'm going to have to do for the Miami Heat game, fam. So hopefully we can pull out a tough win, a tight win against Miami. And then Detroit, I think we can take care of. And then I think we can take care of the Rockets. So best case scenario, the Knicks end up, 4-2. fam. Win the next 3 and just go 4-2. I think that's best case scenario. And then obviously, if not, we go 2-1 on this trip. The next 3 games, and then we end up at 3-3, right? 3-3 while you're still figuring things out, and hopefully you get some guys back that are healthy, you know. But that's been the post-game show. We'll do the preview for Miami game coming up soon. We've got some guests on the way, like I said, fam. So stay locked in. We've got the streets buzzing as well. We've got 2 big guests on the way, fam, in the next... we're just waiting on some confirmation, but in the next couple of weeks, look out for that. We're going to have about 8 games, 10 games in to chop up the start of the season and see where the New York Knicks are at. But the chat showed out tonight, guys. Appreciate your comments, thoughts, concerns, positives, and all the vibes, right? The New York Knicks, man, frustrating loss, and we're going to be better, right? But we had control of this ball game, and there was some positives that we need to double down on, and then there's some things, man, that we just have to clean up, especially defensively. And hopefully, man, Hukporti gets that contract soon. I think that regular season contract is on the way for Ariel Hukporti, man. If Tibbs is playing him in a big time matchup ahead of Sims in real minutes down the stretch, I think watch out for that, right? But it does look like that Landry Shamet and Matt Ryan, right, might be on this regular roster or on the big club very soon as well. Cameron Payne gets the C tonight. Does Kolek get a chance? Does Pacome Dadier and his cutting and off-ball movement and length get a shot moving forward, fam? But everyone, it's been an honor. Peace out. Let's get it on the next one, and let's get right.